Hey everybody, welcome back to Metal Shop Steve. I have a very exciting video for you today. Today we are actually going to talk about an album from a band that I just recently learned about. And you know, it's a really great album. It hasn't gotten much press. This is one of those bands that's out there that they've put out some music. They're a really hard-working band and they're really good. But right now they're just kind of out there pushing it on their own. And you know, working on the basis of their strong touring and strong live performances, and you know, just doing what they can to succeed. And really, that's what music's all about. That's where the great bands start. So today, my whole album review here. I don't actually have a physical copy of it. I have the digital copy. So I'll show you a picture of that here. Probably like boom, right there. So the band is Sepsiss. And they're a female-fronted metal band out of New England, New Hampshire area, I think, is where they started out. Somewhere around 2011 is where they got their start. They've been, again, a really kind of aggressive touring schedule, just getting their name out there, kind of a grassroots type of thing. So this release, which I'm pretty sure came out not that long ago, earlier this year, it's called Bad Blood. And it's an 8-song CD, 8-song album. And it really showcases what this band can do, and they can do a lot, I'll tell you that. Starting off, probably the thing you'll notice first in any of the pictures or the videos, which I will link below just so you get a little bit of contact with this band. Melissa Wolf, she's one of the founders of the band. She's the lead singer, and she just has this really bright, clear voice, absolutely soaring over the hard rock guitar, the drum, the bass, and it won't take you long to figure out that once you give it a listen. So the lovely Melissa Wolf, of course, and then co-founder William Savant on guitar, and he also sings. He contributes some vocals and some screaming in there. And this is another thing I like. This is one of the big things I like about this band, is that they mix that pure, bright, clean vocal with some screaming and some growling in there when it's appropriate, and it's a pretty good balance. It's not that one's overpowering the other, it's just a really, really nice balance between the two. Moving on, the rest of the band, Cam Loud on guitar, love that name. Actually, I love all the names here. On keyboard, Mr. Goodbars, love that too. And finally on bass, Johnny Impact. And this band really brings a whole diverse musical background. All of their musical tastes are just, it really contributes to a great, unique sound to this band. And I think before I get started talking about the tracks, I'll just try to, I don't really want to compare, I don't like comparing band to band, but I would say, now stay with me on this because it might seem a little strange, if Amy Lee of Evanescence sang on some Motley Crue background music. That's kind of here and there what I would say that it sounds like almost, although there's certainly a lot of modern metal in here as well, but you can hear that kind of great hair band musical influence in there to some of the riffs and things like that, and of course you know I love that. So here we go. Going down the track listing, I'll just tell you a little bit about each track and what I heard. The opener called Fair to Say, and this one opens up, it's a great way to open the album, another great opener. It's got this thundering bass to start out, and that's really prominent up front. I love that. It's a great riff in this song, and this is where you're first introduced to Melissa's vocals, and again, crisp, clean, beautiful vocals. It just really melds well with the rest of the album. Following up with that, one of my favorite songs, although with an 8-song album it's kind of tough to pick your favorites if they're all good. I really like this next one. It's called To Write Hate on His Arms. This is where you first hear both Melissa and William singing. He actually does sing in here. It's a nice mix, and there's a little bit of screaming. So it's really, it's where you start to hear the band kind of develop and really get going on all cylinders here, I would say. The next song, Sky is Falling. really beautiful at first, kind of airy, beautiful, serene, and then the screams kick in and it just starts rocking. There's really great guitar solo work in this one. And again, for me, it's a throwback to my earlier days of metal when bands weren't afraid to get out there and just kick some solos. It's not just a hairband thing, but that's really where I remember it from. But again, just great guitar work here. More of a traditional metal sound on this song, I think. Then song number 4, The Swarm. It's kind of short. It's pretty low key compared to the rest of the album. It's actually, if one song sounded different than the rest, I would say this song sounds a little bit different from the rest. Not in a bad way. It's got a little bit of a different flavor to it. Then followed up with Black Light Invasion, just a really solid rocker. And again, you're getting more of that scream in there balanced with the vocals, and it's a great combination. It's one that I love to hear. Falling Unloved, that's another one. It's in the same vein there. It's solid, it's a rocker, it's got nice chunky guitars in there. And too often you find that a band, especially one that's just, working hard to get out there and isn't overproduced, you're usually going to hear one part of the music overpower another, whether it's the guitars or the drums or the singing. But I feel like here, everything kind of balances really well. So you get to hear different parts highlighted in different songs. Sometimes you're just really feeling Melissa's vocals, and other times you're feeling the guitars. I mentioned that the bass in the first song was one of the highlights too. And then the album closes with, again, 2 songs that could compete for being my favorite song on the album. Number 1, Force You. And again, here's where, at least to my ears, and maybe it's because I've been listening to a lot of Motley Crue lately, I hear that Motley Crue kind of guitar work in there. And band, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like some of you have a little bit of Motley Crue influence. That was one of your favorite bands that influenced you. I'm not usually wrong about these things, but call me on it if I am, please. It's up-tempo, really, really, really strong vocals in this song. And maybe that's why I like this one the best. I've told you before, I'm a vocals guy a lot of times. And Melissa's vocals in this are just so strong. You really have to listen to it to hear what I mean. And then finally, the album finishes up with Eyes of Empathy. And it's just a really well-balanced song. It's a great way to end the album. And as I said, there aren't any skips on this album for me. It's solid top to bottom. But this last one, the closer, Eyes of Empathy, well-balanced. Again, a really shredding solo. And I love that. I love how it's kind of the balance of that traditional metal that I love, that traditional hair metal, the guitar, the drum, mixed with a newer metal sound, the screaming, a little bit of up-tempo, almost borderline, a little bit of shred in there. But it's such a good balance. And I think, and I hope, that you go out and give this one a listen. This is another one that I will say go out and listen to it. If you go to their website, which I'll link down below, you can either order a physical copy, I believe they have an autographed copy for sale too, or you can download it like I did digitally. Definitely go through their website. I would say that's the best way to get their material. So that's all I've got to say. The folks at Sepsiss have been really nice in communication so far, and I'm hoping actually to get them on here for an interview sometime soon to talk a little bit more about the album and how they put it together. But again, great album. Go out and get it, and you will not be disappointed. As always, I am Steve, Metal Shop Steve. If you like me, subscribe please so you know what's going on, and let me know what you think after you go out and listen to this album. And that's all I've got to say today. Thanks.